All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about deadlift form. Right, we're going to go through three different variations. Right, we got the standard deadlift, stiff leg deadlift, and sumo deadlift. Right, let's start with the standard. Right, standard deadlift is going to be about shoulder width apart with my feet, maybe a little wider. Right, again, just like with the goblet squat, screw your feet into the ground. Right, kind of rotate the toes out, screw the heels down. I want the bar close to me. Right, I don't want it like way out here where I feel like I got to lean forward to pull it up. Bring it close to you, right? The frame of reference I always use is it should be over the top of my shoelaces, right? I should be able to see my shoelaces under the bar, see my toes on the other side, and then I'm going to sit behind the bar, right? I like to use overhand grip, right? You can go overhand, you can alternate if you want to, whichever you prefer. Like when the weight gets heavy, I'll go to this route, right? One hand up, one hand down, right? But when the weight is moderate to light or something I know I can handle, I'm just going to go with the overhand grip, right? And it's a hook grip, right? Nice hook with the fingers, right? I'm not squeezing the bar hard with the hands, right? Nice hook grip, right? And I want to hear that click. Right? If you got a good bar, you're going to hear the bar click, meaning like everything's stabilized, right? If I don't hear that click, I know I'm not stabilized, right? So I'm going to hear that click, come straight up, and then I'm going to go back down the exact same way, right? Bar path is huge here, right? I don't want the bar casting forward when I go back down. I don't want it like rolling back when I come up. I want to go straight up, straight down, and potentially put it back in the same spot where it started from, right? Now, if I'm moving a little quickly, yeah, we might get a little out of balance, right, as we pop the hips forward, right? But that right there to me is like a cadence, like, all right, full rep, done. Full rep, done, right? Now, for the stiff leg deadlift, right, you're going to go a little closer with your stance, right? Same thing, though. Screw the feet into the ground, rotate the toes out slightly, right? Still an overhand grip. The only difference is I'm not squatting there, right? That's the biggest difference, right? The regular deadlift, I start in a squat position. Stiff leg deadlift, I'm flexing more in the hips, right? Versus knees and hips, right? So screw the feet in, rotate toes out, grab the ball the same way, right? Hips are up here, right? And then I'm going to drive up from the glutes, right? When it's glute focused, right? Drive it from the glutes, squeeze the glutes, right? Come back down. All right, drive it from the glutes, drive back down. Right now, the main muscle here is the hamstrings, right? Hamstrings definitely build the glutes, though, right? If I got strong hamstrings, I should have strong glutes, right? And vice versa, right? I don't want to have strong glutes, weak hamstrings, or strong hamstrings, weak glutes. Right? I want to be nice and balanced, right? Where they're supporting and helping each other, right? So if you want to go more glute focus, you're going to slightly bend the knees, right? Come up here, right? And focus on just like a hip thrust, right? Like a standing hip thrust, right? Slightly bend the knees, standing hip thrust. All right, slightly bend the knees, standing hip thrust, right? The difference here is my hips are going back further on this one versus on the standard deadlift, stiff leg deadlift, which is going to be more hamstring focused. Hips aren't going back as far. I'm pushing straight down, driving straight back up, right? Right, and the difference again, hips go back on the glute one, knees kind of bend slightly. I get more flexion in that glute ham tie-in, right? And then I squeeze up through the glutes, right? Now for sumo squats, sumo deadlifts, wide stance, right? Nice and wide, right? There are notches on the bar, right, inside the knurling, right? Those smooth rings, right, where you ideally would put your fingers if you're like bench pressing or something. I like to go toes out somewhere near those notches, right? And same thing, right? I want my shoelaces under the bar, right? Screw the feet in, starting in a squat position, right? You can go overhand grip, alternate, whatever you prefer, right? It could be this or that, but still a hook grip, right? And now, same thing here. I want the bar to come straight up. It should meet my pockets at the top, right? Somewhere near, right up under my hips. Right, come back down the same way. Drive back up. Right, come back down the same way. All right, now the biggest issue with deadlifts that you get from people is, well, deadlifts hurt my back. Well, it's not that the deadlift is actually hurting your back. It's going to be your form, right? Like the bar's not doing anything to you. Your form is what's causing you to feel like your back is hurting, right? So on the sumo, for instance, my first movement doesn't need to be this, right? If I go here first and then I stand up, I'm basically doing like a back extension, right? I don't want that, right? The back is going to get worked in a deadlift, but I don't want to overemphasize the back by doing that, right? Right. So again, hips will fly up, and you'll pick the weight up. I'm literally just doing a standing back extension, right? Versus keeping the hips down, right? I want to focus on how long can I stay in this position as I bring the weight up to me. right? And I don't need to I don't need to force the hips forward at the top to overextend my pelvis. Keep the hips nice and bent, all the way down, all the way up, right? All the way back down, right? So by not overextending the hips, I keep constant tension on my glutes, my hamstrings, my quads, right? Same with the regular deadlift, right? If your first movement is here, right, you're like that, wrong way to go, right? Keep the hips down, screw the feet into the floor, right? Imagine you're pushing the floor away from yourself, right? Head up, chest up, pull, right? Come back up, come back down. Now I want to imagine like I'm trying to pull something from the ground. If something was tied to my hamstrings at the bottom of my glutes right there, or even like in my fucking butt crack, I'm not going to pull it up by doing this. I'll pull it up by squeezing and pulling up through there and then coming back down, right? And the same for the stiff leg deadlift, right? If you feel like your first movement is to shoot your hips forward really fast and overextend, you're going to get some back issue, right? Take your time when you're strength training, right? There's never a need to rush when it comes to strength training. I want to be nice, slow, and controlled, all the way up, all the way down. I want to really feel that range of motion that I'm looking for, right? And again, range of motion is huge when it comes to strength training, right? I want to hit every fiber of the muscle. I don't want to miss any part of it, right? I don't want to get here and stop short, right? There's going to be time for that, right? That's like if we're doing a certain type of training, and I say, hey, don't go all the way down. I want to keep constant tension right there. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Drive back up. Feel it, feel it, feel it. Drive back up, right? 9 to that is 10 though. We want full range of motion, right? All the way to the floor, all the way back up, right? If I can't get back to the floor, whether it's in the regular, the stiff leg, or the sumo, probably have a mobility issue, whether it's in the hips, hamstrings, the glute ham tie-in, even could be down to the ankles, could be in the shoulders, right? Somewhere I have a mobility issue, right? That needs to be addressed and fixed, right? But overall, the biggest cues right here are going to be screw the feet into the ground, right? Especially on the squat, deadlift, and the sumo. Get down, right? Get all the way down there. Let the hips sit, right? And drive up through the hamstrings, through the quads, right? All right, same for the sumo, right? Nice and wide. Keep the hips down, right? I don't want to shoot the hips up. Keep them down. Drive up, drive back down. All right, for the stiff leg, just be consistent with your hip flexion, right? If you're having issues with the stiff leg, just practice being able to bend over without bending the knees, right? Whether you got to do it up against the wall or have a bar on your back and just slowly work on a good morning, right? This is like the prerequisite for a stiff leg deadlift, a good morning. Make sure you got the flexibility you need so that you can accomplish these movements, right? Otherwise, it's going to be a tough time. All right? I pray that helped you in some form or fashion. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.